Coincidentally, it is also the beginning of the end of the world, according to Alex Jones. Now, I'll tell you why we're playing Alex Jones this early up front, because I'm using it as a sort of a framework, if you will. Here's Alex Jones, apparently with a special report. A global emergency, ladies and gentlemen.
Alex Jones here with a breaking emergency news alert and analysis. It is Saturday, September 5th, 2015. Months ago, back on June 20th, I put out a special report called Total Emergency Alert, Elite are now evacuating. And I break down how they're sending MRAPs to all the local departments saying get ready for civil unrest, get ready to fight the Tea Party. I pointed out how we're having all these announcements for world government.
They're sending MRAPs to fight the Tea Party.
Who are they fighting?
This is a breaking report. That didn't happen. Okay, go ahead.
The Pope and the rest of it. I pointed out that the elite were preparing and pulling their money out of stock markets in the U.S., Europe, but especially China. You now see that's begun to happen. I showed you mainstream news articles where elites are buying armored redoubts in northern Canada, the Ozarks, New Zealand, the Cook Islands. I talked about my sources that said all hell is about to break loose by the fall. Since then, we've seen stock markets fall massively around the world, starting in China, the United States.
Pause it.
We've seen private...
By the fall, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess we got technically a couple of more weeks, but by the fall means before the fall. By the time the fall arrives, all hell will broken loose. And yes, it is true. The stock market dropped, what, 10%? I don't know, because most people in this country don't even have money in the stock market. To the extent they do, it's long term. But yes, okay, continue.
Central banks propping it up. We see the Federal Reserve's decision on increasing or decreasing interest rates, sending shockwaves. We are enslaved by the private central banks who are eugenicists and who want a world financial collapse they control to consolidate power. So June, July, August. June was 3 months ago. June 20th was almost 3 months ago as we sit here. And
now, let me say this. I want to make this clear. That is accurate. It is now in September. June was about 3 months ago. That is 100% accurate. I also like the idea of like, the Fed's they're either going to raise or lower the rates. And that's causing people to react. Yes, that's a tough one. The temperature's either going to be higher or lower, and people are going to dress accordingly.
Talk in early September, 2.5 months ago. And look how much has happened. I want to explain something. I don't want things to collapse, even though it's a bubble. We're damned if we do, damned if we don't. I want to be clear. I'm just telling you what the establishment's saying and what the signs are. And we were saying it not just 2.5 months ago, but 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, as we saw the signs. This bubble is untenable. It's all based on fiat.
I would say also we said that 10 years ago and 12 years ago and 15 years ago. In fact, we've been saying it ever since I ever had a radio show.
Fraud. But you add together all the crises humans face and the fact that corruption has crept into everything, and the elite don't have an attitude of saving humanity, but just having a global economic, cultural, military meltdown out of which they get full power. They've decided to try to ride the wave of chaos and destruction and grease the skids, and they're going to get power out of this. It is insane. It is self-destructive. And so I'm reissuing this time to the next level. We were like, at a 7 before on the Richter scale. Now we're like a 9 or a 10. The DEFCONs are just moving up literally and figuratively. So let's go ahead and go over some of this evidence right here.
Okay. Now, what is also amazing is that the elites who have all the power in the world to do everything are actually going to make the world even a worse place so they can really have power. Now, I don't know what extra power they get. I guess it would be like there'll be no traffic. Like, that's the one thing. Like, they'll be able to drive around in their stretch Hummers, and there'll be no traffic whatsoever. And I don't know what more power do they want? What do they get? They're going to be able to eat human flesh and no one's going to complain. It's unclear. But go ahead.
You know, I was just at a Bilderberg group meeting, and the Queen of England and the Pope and I had just finished eating a young boy that we had roasted on a fire pit together. And I was saying, this is great, but there's something missing. I just feel like we're sort of playing around the edges. Like, we run everything, but people don't really know it. They don't really feel it in their guts. So I think what we need to do is we need to sort of ride this wave, take it to the next level. I mean, I do want to nuke Charleston. That's not a joke, man.
This is what I'm thinking, what they want. They want giant video screens so that when they do this stuff, they have so much power that everybody has to watch the video screens, them do it. That's basically it.
Absolutely. I mean, look, you want recognition for the work you do. It's a certain point. It's like, look, how many kids do I have to eat before people know that I eat kids? There's a payoff to these things. You ever watch True Detective? I mean, same dynamic, just at a different level.
Oh, spoiler alert.
There's no spoiler alert there. I'm just saying at the end of a mystery, you want to know what's actually going on.
All right. There you go. So that explains it. That's what they're up to. The reason why I bring up the Alex Jones here, because when he goes on to show the evidence, it's just evidence that it's just him doing reports that he's done over the past. It's really basically just like a best of package for him in some way. And
it's like a rock group that keeps releasing the unedited, the original. It's like, wait, was that the same?
I'm going to show you the director's
studio?
cuts.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to show you the director's cuts of the predictions I've made of the global meltdown over the summer. You didn't get the full meltdown experience. Now you're going to see it because we are nearly at the fall where all hell is going to break loose. You're going to have, people are going to be doing, they're going to be doing the Thanksgiving Day sales. That's going to be crazy. And that's my prediction. We will see it is now early September. We will see by early December a lot of Thanksgiving sales. Not just in big box retail store, but all retail outlets.
By the way, how great was that he said literally and figuratively?
We have literally and figuratively
such a great covering
gone up DEFCON because we actually do have a DEFCON rating in our now I wasn't it? It's like, isn't DEFCON 1 like the worst as opposed to like DEFCON 4? Like, if you're like at 4, isn't that okay? Or I don't know. I don't know which way.
How the DEFCON system
Maybe he's
works.
we've also got our own unique methodology.
The
Exactly.
higher
When
the
it
number,
comes-
the least severe.
Well, not in our DEFCON machine.
Exactly.
See, you are a perfect example of how the elite, that's what they've done. They've actually reversed what is the popular conception of the DEFCON levels. So that when it's at DEFCON 1, you're in a panic. But in fact, that's the best place you want to be. It's DEFCON 7, which is the real danger zone. Okay.
Was that an intentional Loggins reference? I appreciated that.
All right, I got to get to some real stuff here, but it's too much fun to do Alex Jones.